I'm gonna keep saying it until it's not true. This should be the best damn sports anime right now. And holy shit, this episode blew me away. If you want to check out my full live reaction, I will have it linked in the description and all that with the Patreon if you do want to support that. But let's talk about episode 4. We're only a month into Blue Lock, and this shit is impressing me more than any sports anime, at least this quickly, in terms of how long it took for me to go, goddamn, I need 100 episodes. But the idea of this episode was brilliant because this was, for the first half, slow burn, characterization, setup. And then the back half of the episode came in, and it was non-stop knockouts. And the way they continue to make a sport that I really just don't care. I just don't like the sport, don't like watching the sport in real life. But the way they make me care about the technical sides of things, the way they make me care about, like, holy shit, the stuff that must be going through these characters' heads as they're talking to the viewer or talking inside their head. They have all these things going on. And yeah, if you were in halftime sitting on the bench, you could say it's not that complicated, but the fact that they're performing this well while thinking all these things, it blows you away with the details about Blue Lock. And seriously, the way they almost immediately, and I mean this, almost immediately into the episode, made me say, holy shit, did I just find new best boy? Because honestly, I think I might have just found new best boy. Like, Kunigami didn't need to be as awesome as he turned out to be, but his whole kind of like real life superhero shtick is just, honestly, it's refreshing. I like the fact that he kind of even calls out that people would consider him to probably be cringy or just it's his childish dreams. But where people used to play pretend when they were kids about wanting to be superheroes, he looked at his real life superheroes, the people on these TVs that are just so talented at their craft, that's who he wants to be. He wants to be a real life superhero in that way. And almost immediately, he just came across as like the ultimate bro. You already could tell he was talented as seen by the goal. And most importantly, Isagi felt it firsthand. The kick was something powerful. But the fact that because he scored a goal, he obviously got more points and could exchange it for much better food. He got a steak. And the steak immediately made me go hungry. I was like, holy shit, for being a drawing, that's a damn good looking steak. And just to see them bond so quickly, because, like, why would you pass me the ball? And he starts saying, like, it was all instinct, like he didn't even think about it. He naturally acted before he had time to realize what he did. And immediately that then kickstarts that's his talent. That's Isagi's talent. Because, I mean, there's been some conversation. Like, you can look at some of these characters and say, oh, I can see how they would evolve to be the best striker and could win Blue Lock. But looking at Isagi, he doubts in himself a lot, right? He's obviously has talent there, but is it really talent compared to some of these other beasts that the team rally behind? But as we can see in this episode, not only did his talent stop them from being defeated, expose the true ace of their team, but most importantly, it highlights that if there's a man like Isagi on the best team Japan has to offer, it is entirely possible that no one would be able to get one up on their team, because he's the type of guy who can recognize that, one, that's actually not the person who's causing the team to excel. It's actually Mr. Eyewink over here with his little eye hole thing, and just the fact that every play that kind of felt like another was doing it was actually handled by him in a lot of ways. And I think it's interesting because when you put into perspective, you can look at a few different characters already and say, damn, I could see how they could be the #1 striker by the time we reach the finish line. Naturally, main character syndrome, we know Isagi's going to make it to the end at the very least. Winning is always up in the air, obviously, depending on how the story progresses. But how would he end up making it? Because ultimately, to be the one that everyone rallies behind, there has to be a confidence that if we follow, he will lead us to victory. So one, he has to build up his talent as being a striker, but most importantly, you can see how for someone like Isagi, he recognizes that sometimes it's better to pass because he recognizes this person will guarantee get the goal. I might not be able to guarantee from my position, but he also has to be the person who can take the shot and also get the goal. So he has a long way to go, but you can see based on his talent, the team would rally behind someone like that and very much could become that egotistical striker that they need. And the fact that he doesn't even realize sometimes what he does, the monster inside him almost takes over, it's like an autopilot, you can definitely see how he could grow into that role. And to see the different characters and their formations, I actually thought it was kind of brilliant because you essentially have this conundrum. If we lose here, we're done. Our professional career's over. So how are we going to figure out who's going to be our striker? Well, everyone takes turns. every 10 minutes or something they end up rotating in a clockwise formation, so everyone gets a chance to highlight their talent. And it's honestly pretty good for a couple reasons. One, it keeps the team together. They recognize if we lose, well, we can't ever do this again, so we do have to work together, but most importantly, I want my chance to shine. So they cover both bases, because had they not had the threat of disqualification and never being able to do this professionally, there's no way they would be able to come together as quickly as they did after such a crushing defeat. But the second thing is around the midway point when they're at halftime, they're just kind of butting heads. There's two perspectives. One, if we keep up with our formation, they'll be disoriented. They won't be able to keep up with our strategy because we constantly switch. Makes sense. However, other perspective. We have two people that could very much get us a goal. Yes, they would know our strategy, but they are the talent rather than gambling on this roulette wheel. And honestly, during that conversation, I didn't really have my money on either side. I could see the two different sides and the way they're going about that. And then to just see how, like, Isagi built into that, holy shit, yes, he may not have gotten the goal, but he's the reason why shit didn't implode. And should he propel his own striking talent, this very well could be the ace. But we have a team, and they're all gonna shine in different ways. And honestly, this show be impressing me. Like, not only is the production holding up, like, the entire soccer match was just so smooth. Like, the different players clearly had their own animation style with how they would dribble, pass the ball, they would strike and everything. And it really felt like they all felt like people with their own behaviors with how they were detailed. And it's interesting because sometimes you'll have those wide shots where you see the entire playing field and they have like little miniature 3D models that are running. Even that looks relatively good because they animate it in a way that makes it still come across as realistic, even if it's not detailed. And so many shots, you just focus in on these characters and you say, damn boy, like, that is a refined looking character. Like, most of the characters we focus on have a lot of details beyond just the generic anime hairstyle that's overreactive. Like, there's just so much detail, and the fact that the animation's keeping up, it feels like real people dribbling these balls, doing all these crazy things. And when characters do these headbutts or they then crash into the goalpost and their torso just obliterates onto that, you feel the impact. And this show is passion. It's quality, and it recognizes that some of the shit these characters say can be considered cheesy or over the top, and the characters themselves recognize that. It's a completely self-aware show that knows exactly when it's being goofy, but also when it can be the most exhilarating sports show you can watch all year, hands down, and I'm really excited for more. But thoughts and feelings on this episode, definitely an incredible one. I thought they were going to go into overtime, they would finally get a goal 1-1, it would go into overtime for the last one, but things are looking up right now, but it's still going to be a push to get to the finish line. So thoughts and feelings down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Like I mentioned, you can check out my live reaction over on the Patreon, and while you're there, you can also get a video shout out like The Void is getting this week. So thank you for the support. Till next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.